benvenuti again, welcome, and to the one to Mage, and welcome to the Trendbook 2027. So this is the last session, and it's about the forecast, and we have in a way prepared the soil to really enter, like kind of peek a little bit on what's happening next. Now, just a few words about what is the Jewellery Trendbook. The Jewellery Trendbook has been, the first time it came out was in 2002. The founder of the Jewellery Trendbook, which in 2012 the publisher became the Vicenza Oro Show, and I co-founded with them Trend Vision Jewelry and Forecasting, which is an independent observatory. And this is something that I really care about. And by independent means that no one is interfering with the observatory. We are not advertising. Anyone that is included in the Trendbook, they don't even know it. I mean, it's completely free of charge. People that is published that, like once again, they are picked in an independent way, and Vicenza Fair, I have to say, they are the sponsor and the publisher, and they never, ever, ever interfere, and I kept it very, and I feel just very honored because of that. The Trendbook comes out once a year. We're nearly 2 years ahead of time, and like I said, the inspiration came from Premiere Vision. So in the early 90s, I was extremely young, and I started going to this fashion textile salon to get inspired and say, how can I take this concept and bring it to the jewelry industry? So I basically started, I was of course a pioneer, and today I don't want to be in the trends industry anymore, because everybody wants to be doing trends, and I think it's so untrendy to do trends. Think about how I am such a snob, you know, in this case, selective, because I feel it's very fluffy the way it's being developed and it's being published, everybody is on trend. What does it mean, trend? When I use the term trend, it's again for prevalent trend of the market. And usually prevalent trend of the market, they are influenced by meta trends. Meta, mega, and micro trends. Meta trends are those that they are influencing the entire globe and every aspect of our life. Environmental change, it is a meta trend. Energy crisis is a meta trend. Wellness and health is a meta trend. Geopolitical turmoil and globalization, it is a meta trend which is affecting lifestyle and all over the world. Macro trends are trends that they are in a way getting into now our lifestyle, and usually versus the mega trends may last 10 years, macro trends can be five years. When we get into micro trends, we're getting into one particular sector. For instance, our market. So we're talking about being almost, we are analysts, and we're very, in a way, scientific, the way we identify trends. When prior to digital age and of course AI, it was more difficult to research because we were doing it with books, with newspapers, with travel, and I would travel literally all over the world, read and purchase newspapers, from the Financial Times to the Times of India to Vogue Russia, Vogue Milan. I mean, you tell me, from business papers to fashion, science, book, exhibition, cultural movement. Now in a click or in a, just with perplexity of DeepSeek, I can do researches, but of course it changes based on the experience, on the trace, on the topic that we are covering, and of course experience, I have to say that's where the human emotion and the human value comes in, is extremely valuable. So, of course, with the click, we are jumping into any geography, era, and topic, and yet the personal experience, the talent, the curiosity, the whatever the empathy of understanding of the culture, of living in people's environment is triggering and suggesting one particular path to understand and decode the phenomenon. So the Trendbook comes out nearly like 2 years in advance. In the way basically we are tracing it. Basically, we are now working on season 2028, which seems very far away. 2027, which is this one, was presented in Vicenza in September. But then we do a roadshow, global roadshow. This is one of them. The global roadshow means that we go around the globe sharing this information. Some people ask, how can you, in 2025, present season 2020? How difficult is that? The truth is, in September, not only we are projecting trends, but if you think about it, in June, already I'll give you an example, salon and exhibitions, they're already selling seasons ahead. So if you had to go to Las Vegas at JCK and Luxury or Couture, you're already presenting full winter 26-27, correct? Or even in September, in Vicenza, if you come, or Hong Kong, you are getting orders for fall 26, early 27. And so at the end of the day, we are not that far ahead, because between understanding the collection, understanding the market, designing the collection, developing the prototype, putting together if you are a brand, or if you want to just have a catalog for your client, either you are a B2B or B2C, you need to promote. When I say, and I tell you that you have to promote yourself as a brand, it doesn't matter if you're to consumer or to the industry, because if you're ready for the show in Mumbai with a beautiful campaign, beautiful catalog, you are sending invitation to your client, you have the right collection, communicated the right way, and even the display are done in a certain way, you are already attracting your best retailer. And the retailer and everyone needs guidance. You are selling not only product, but we are selling a beacon, a light, a direction. That's what we do. The more we are confident, the more we are leading. And the only way to be a leader, it is to be knowledgeable, and you become knowledgeable, therefore confident. Confidence comes from knowledge. So the Trendbook comes out once a year with 18 months ahead of time, and is divided into three main chapters. Number one, emerging phenomena. What are emerging phenomena? Socio-cultural shifting and how they are affecting retailing, how they are affecting communication, how they are affecting digital media, and or how technology is affecting campaign, communication, even the design process. The second chapter, excuse me, I'm sorry, the talk is distracting. No, it's distracting. To me, it's distracting. The second chapter is market opportunity, which is the jewelry sector. Why we call it market opportunity? Because considering the market shifting and how consumers are changing, for instance, fluid design, we call it fluid, or jewelry for men, it's a market opportunity. And it is true that some companies are designing just for men, but a tennis bracelet can be worn by women or men. So there are new opportunities in the market which have shifted collections and design architecture, including, for instance, not selling set of earrings, pair. Because women, especially in India, they wear more earrings because they have, they have studded ear. So the earrings are sold by piece in many collections versus set. So now the market opportunity have changed based on consumer style, consumer attitude. And that's why we call it market opportunities. If you start observing how consumer change, now the jewelry industry is changing. Some designers, some brands are, we call it antennas. And the antennas are those, they are visionary. Some brands, some designers, they see certain things, and they are ahead of everyone else, and there to follow consumer demand rather than follow the retail demand, because sometimes retailers are afraid and they don't dare. But then sometimes consumers are requesting certain things. Like I said, people is purchasing earrings on its own, and so the matchy collections are not necessarily sold anymore altogether, but they're sold as individual pieces. Now they have deconstructed the jewelry industry. So this is basic. So, and then last but not least, what we call the forecast. The forecast is not prediction. We're not predicting anything. No one is able to predict if not projecting. How do we project? Of course, if gold went from $3,500 per ounce up to nearly 5,000, definitely the gold price is affecting the industry. So what is the result? Well, I'll tell you what's happening in Europe, including Italy. Italy, except for the extremely high-end pieces, which are 18 karat, some independent and young designers have entered 9 and 14 karat gold rather than 18. It's new. In Italy especially, where traditionally they said 18 karat, now they've started doing some fashion pieces in 9 karat and 14 karat with diamonds, for instance, and they are more fashionable pieces. Alternative material could be resins, could be titanium, even platinum. As you know, it became more popular, and even someone was asking me about sterling silver. So if someone is asking me, is it sterling silver in or is out? Well, I would say, if you're asking me about, for instance, in Europe or in America, people don't buy in metal, they buy a style. So if your pieces are interesting enough, stylish enough, if they are versatile enough, they will buy it. And if they have the good price, the right price, and the right price doesn't have to be inexpensive, it should be the right perceived price. Perception is what Amedeo was saying before. It doesn't have to be the price that people don't blink. They say it's all worth it. And it doesn't matter if it's expensive or not expensive. It's the right price for the right option. So this is how we basically identify. So let me go relatively fast and let me time myself because I don't want to bore you, basically. So I will give this presentation in 20 minutes in total, and then we'll wrap up the day. So market opportunities could go very fast. Of course, the global scenario. I think this is a very interesting slide because, everybody is like, when we talk about trends, I don't like, when people say, is it going to be yellow gold, the white gold, the oops, stiletto? Is it important? Yes, eventually, yes, but it's important this. It's like, what is the market in the US, in Latin America? What about in Europe? We look about, China, how relevant it is. Africa is growing, India. So we are really always looking at business, what's happening locally and what's happening globally. And as you can see, we are also dividing not only style, but pearls, private market, diamond, colored gemstones, and gold market. So anyway, I will not stay here much, but anyway, all this information are in the Jewellery Trendbook that if you want, you might purchase online. There is someone selling it in India. So let's go here very quick on this concept of modular design or modular couture. Basically, the thing of what it really changed dramatically in the last, I would say, few years, it is what we call styling or super styling. Styling is the way you wear, how you mix and match things from high and low, from inexpensive with expensive. It's mixing Zara with a Valentino piece. It's mixing a Prada pair of shoes with, or like a sweat from Puma. It's really like breaking the rules. And breaking the rules is about consumer wearing what they please. And they might not wear matchy earrings. And honestly, this goes from Gen Z and Millennial up to the Gen Xers, which I'm one of them. and or the boomers. Jewelry and collections are, you see, sold individually, and the result may be a minimalistic effect or a maximalistic effect. What does it mean by maximalistic? Either a goal or minimal, but you can be all of them. Who decided that you are only a minimalist or a maximalist and not be eclectic and multifaceted as we all are? So everything is stackable or wearable or can be removed. So locks and closure become centerpieces, and they're versatile, and chains that can be removed and attached in a different way. And this layering, it's really interesting because it's going to tell the story of the wearer. It's not about the brand, it's about who's wearing it. So you might wear an expensive watch, or maybe just whatever you want next to your tennis bracelet, diamonds, can be just a string of silk or something spiritual that you're wearing. There is not a rule. The rule is the style that you wear and you feel. So this one is giving a great opportunity for design. So when we talk about trends, we are talking about prevalent trends of the market affected by consumer sentiment. And so this is kind of what we are, recapping here. But let's go, of course, let's say relatively fast. Of course, gold has become in these seasons because of wartime. It's wartime. And during wartime, gold is becoming bolder and bigger, but they may be hollow, or maybe these pieces that they were, they come from the past. A lot of gas tubing, the Bulgari, gas tubing, inspiration. Of course, other companies are doing these 1940s and 50s inspired components. Those are technologically made, as you know, and as well, different kind of component. But I would say that gold in general, but jewelry in general, they are now high performance. What do I mean by high performance? They are either lightweight, hollow, very wearable, versatile, or sometimes they are flexible. They are chains and they are elastic. Gold jewelry are kind of playful. They are performance. They can be detachable. They are almost machine or precious stones. That's what they are. They are not static, and that's why when we're talking about, there is not a rule for luxury, but I would say there is not even a rule for jewelry nowadays. Technology has a love affair with heritage, and as you can see, but I have to be careful here because I have the queen of gems here in the audience. But basically, color has become very popular. In the past was mainly in certain countries like India or like the south of Europe or in the Middle East, but now it's in North America, has become more popular. Of course, help also thanks to the help of and the promotion and the advertising of the global brands, including Bulgari, and not only. So color gemstones has gained great relevance, and the palette may vary. Some people, of course, are saying, well, what some people say, why don't we come up with, in fashion, Pantone color? Because stones are natural, they are not made up. You cannot just come up with a Pantone color. You cannot just say, well, let's do green. There are not all these Colombian emerald or, whatever. It's not. And stones, luckily, they're rare and not necessarily, they're all available. So at times, certain stones may be pushed by the miners, and could be the Paraíba, could be spinels. So based on what's available, or maybe sometimes what the mines have to move. For instance, I have been associated for many years with Rio Tinto. We had to move Argyle diamonds. And the Argyle diamond mine had to basically be closed within a certain time, and they had to move product within a certain time. So we created a global program that was called Diamond with the Story. And Diamond with the Story was launched in North America, then continued in China, and then was also taken in India with Nazrana, which I was part of, and I was creative director for Nazrana, and many site holders was part of that. So the point is that sometimes the market is pushing a certain type of product, but the truth of the matter is because there is availability. For instance, right now, semi-precious, which Lucia is not calling semi-precious, and I agree with her, let's say not popular certain stones like malachite, or tiger eye, or mother of pearl, are associated to more rare stones. It's a very much in fashion or on demand, especially when treated in a certain way in association, because it becomes a palette of color. So this is breaking the rule. When a brand like Bulgari or others are able and confident enough to push certain association, including some independent designers, of using, let's say, non-popular and with extremely rare gemstones, they're elevating product. The great example is with argyle diamonds or brown diamonds that became very popular, including the Viali in the United States, with chocolate diamonds, or with Fawaz Grimozzi when he came out with the brown diamonds associated with emeralds and turquoise and so on. So at times design is also proposing something that is unexpected. So gemstones are tremendously gained great popularity, but we have to be, of course, when you're asking me which stone, it depends where. I mean, it depends where we are selling. Of course, certain stones, because of the intrinsic value of the stone itself, from sapphire to rubies, now spinels have grown, we were having this discussion last night, how spinel have grown, and the rarity of spinel, and now they've grown like 100% of the original value. So this is something that you have to monitor almost as a commodity constantly, but the way we are using the stone itself, and you are promoting it and selling it, is going to define and maintain the price. If you start taking away margin and negotiating, you're killing your own market. Diamonds. Diamonds, beside let's say the commodity price that we know, and the Rappaport and the bridal, I would say that they're more and more into the fashion pieces, and I would say that they are now getting away from just a round cap. Also because we are now working on seasons. In this particular case, there is a lot of round, but I would say that in the actual season, in 26 and even more, we have seen a development and a growth of interesting shapes which are even geometric, like triangle, very unusual geometric diamonds which are not necessarily baguette. And it's very interesting. I think that the competition, let's call it, between the lab-grown and the natural has created demand and the need to differentiate. So now new cuts are emerging, new cuts are coming out, and this is actually triggering a new renaissance, I would say, in diamond cutting. Pearls. Pearls are, they've been, of course, growing in terms of popularity. We are curating a book on Akoya pearls, and whoever is working with Akoya in fine jewelry is very important, because of course pearls have grown tremendously during the last decade, and they keep growing, and they are worn by women and men. And Akoyas, they are not bigger than 12 millimeters, and when you go higher, we're getting into Australian pearls, South Sea, and so on. Now, the culture of pearl is evolving, and it's kind of broke the rule of just like, old-fashioned. Pearls are no longer associated to grandmother, but they are pushing the boundaries. They're chic, from cashew pearls to round, and actually, as you can see, they are more and more versatile. So I would say that pearls are considered a gem, extremely versatile, extremely modern, for the spheric, of course, shape, and also the color, associated with also links. So it's a new way of envisioning pearls, also because they are also part of the stackable idea, because we have to imagine jewelry to be worn by layers. It's not just an individual, but can be worn by layers. And mix and matching is like having a t-shirt and a sweater, a jacket and a shirt. So now I would say that the real transformation and evolution is not in the product itself, but is in the association and the way consumers are wearing. There is a very interesting experiment that I actually suggest you to show, to view on Instagram or whatever. Prada, as you know, a fashion brand, proposed a catwalk of 15 looks during the last catwalk, 15 looks. And these 15 looks, they came back 2, 3, 4 times, and every time they looked different. It was the same product that they wore over and over, either removing it or adding. But they were the same thing. What is teaching us? It's teaching us that it's not how many things you have, but what you have and how you wear it. It's not quantity, rather quality. So this is an exercise of design thinking by adding, removing, mix and matching, and wearing in a different way. And this is the way we should imagine jewelry wardrobe. The biggest job that has to be done, and I would say that Americans in this way are very good, it's merchandising. Merchandising stands for the assortment that allows a retailer or someone that is speaking to purchase without cannibalizing, meaning repeating the purchase, but you are forced to buy almost the entire collection in order to express a look and or a concept. And the idea of going back and repeating the purchase creates a loyalty between the consumer and the brand or the manufacturer. So it's not how many new designs are coming up, and listen to this because I've been working with Indians for many, many years. Is not how many SKUs you have in the collection showing billions of pieces, because it confuses completely the retailer. I understand and I know that the retailer goes, what's new, what's new, what's new. But if you don't amuse them with an idea that is really turning around the business, they're always going to ask you for something new. I didn't see anything new. I saw an earring with 3 petals, or 4 petals, or 5 petals, one on the left and one on the right, but there was no idea. Idea is disruption. It's wearing jewelry in a different way. It's collectible, it's removing, it's adding, it's mix and matching, and making the client wanting to buy it. Of course, technology, and here is like by technology we mean finishes and titanium and PVD and different ways to make jewelry interesting, competitive, lighter, interesting finishes. This is kind of not only adding a palette, but it's also creating more interest and maybe also be lighter. For instance, black is a very important color this season. Black and diamonds, black and gold. Black metal could be oxidated metal, could be titanium, could be resin, could be ceramic. But black is it's on the net, I would say, is growing in general. Black associated, of course, with precious stones and even diamonds a lot. Now, forecast. I would say the 5 major themes are what we call modular core, meaning the basic of jewelry, basics or core, they have to be modular. And modular is component, Lego type that we build. They must be kind of, clicking together or matching together, like a Lego. And if you're able to create your collection, your assortment as a modular and Lego collection, you're winning. Like Pandora, and the Pandora is evolving into something, to the next level. It is about movement, which is inspired, of course, to geometry and evolution, more abstraction. It is about convergences of culture, India that meets Africa, that meets Europe. Right now we are converging culture. It's about new rituals. What is the new rituals of wearing jewelry? Can we redesign? Can we reinvent a new ritual of sitting in front of the mirror in the morning and starting mix and matching jewelry? How can we create a new ritual? What it is? What is it? Something that we need? A necklace, a stone, an earring, a bunch of earrings. What is that? So even the way we package the collection or present the collection is kind of, how can I make my consumer to wanting to come back? Could be a little element or something, building it. So there are designers that are doing it better than others. And of course, last but not least, it's what was the theme of the Artisan Award, Code de Couture. It's like getting to the next level by going back to our archives. And Valentino and all these people, but even in India, they are really now working more than ever on their archive. And their archive becomes their visual data. Their visual data to get inspired from, not to copy from. And now, very fast example, what is modular core? It's really creating something that is building. This is an example that is very interesting of what could be, or it is, a modular core. It's building from minimalist to maximalist in one concept. This is a company that, this is resin diamonds, it's amazing. They are clicking together. If you wear, this is a cup that is that high but can be purchased individually and click together with a magnet. This is iJewellery actually. This is an Italian company called Buzzati 1947. They have an amazing technology. This is a cup that high, but you can purchase this component, this bangle individually and together they click together. Very popular. Even pattern, you see pattern that become almost a game, but also rings that they kind of detach and they get together, but they are most toys, as the necklace that can become short and long. So jewelry are playful, they're not serious. Even Eclectica, which was presented last week, is a versatile and transformable collection. The concept of transformable jewelry is not new because it was also in the early 1900s, during deco time. There are many deco time brooches that took apart, they were pendant necklaces that would break. So when someone tells, well, how can bridal jewelry become everyday jewelry? Is in history. So the answer is not in the present. The answer is go back to what was done in the past, don't copy it, and take it forward. There is no shortcut. There is no answer by Paola de Luca or Lucia Silvestri or Milan Shocks. There is not a short answer. The answer is you have to do your homework. The trainer or the mentor or the coach can tell you how to do it, but ultimately, you gotta do the workout. And so some example, of transformable jewelry from basic to more complex, of course. Including closure. Closure becomes centerpieces and they are playful. And so the technical aspect is very interesting because there are companies that are just selling the centerpieces, the closure, that becomes almost the centerpiece. Second important, it's what we call dynamic movement. It's all about movement, twisting, vortex, fluidity. Fluid jewelry, but in a very interesting way. Like I said, diamonds presented also in new way and new concept. So kinetic movement, jewelry that transform and they move from very soft, almost fabric, to interesting geometries that elevates in layers, and also like this kind of bracelet, they look very rigid, they twist, they move. So even though something never looks like it doesn't look like they appear. Movement and lightness and technology, high performance is very much on the end. So jewelry, like I said, they are toys. This is actually, I don't know, is an Indian designer, beautiful earrings, as you can see, color and movement and fluidity. so different way of expressing all over the world a similar concept. So color blocking and geometry inspired by deco, but at the same time in a new modern way. Different, three-dimensional, like from kind of curvy up to triangular and rectangular shapes. But definitely geometry is something that is extremely appreciated internationally speaking. So I would say that it's really a global direction. Once again, interesting ring, transformable from an engagement ring with an animal, with an emerald and diamonds, up to a macro cocktail ring, very interesting, very elegant, and with enamel. So as you can see, the extreme, the elegance of this transformation from very simple. So I would say that modularity and transformation is not just in one direction, but it's something that works throughout the whole jewelry spectrum. And again, movement, art as inspiration. Vortex again, but also now we're getting into what we call coded couture. And that's an example by Buccellati, but not being Buccellati an example, an inspiration for you. The inspiration is going back to the archive. So it could be filigree for you, could be polki, could be whatever it is, your background or so it's going back to the archive, to history, taken forward. And as you can see, embroidery or ornament and anything that goes back. As you can see, design is like crochet and either, let's say, more classical to completely abstract and asymmetric. Is it moving? No, it's not moving anymore. Is it moving now? What's going on? It's not moving. What's happening? No, yes, it is. Now, this is a very important necklace. And of course, this is an amazing necklace, of course, by Jewellery. It doesn't matter if it's last year's collection, this year's collection, 10 years collection, is recognizable. Why? Because it's mosaic. It's inspired by mosaic. But that's why micro painting was one of the directions that we had at Artisan Award. Either it's micro literal painting inspired by Indian culture, by Mongol, by whatever, and or Victorian time, and or inlay design like Bulgari, and which comes from Roman mosaic and other ancient representation. But it's really like, as you can see, is not copying, is rethinking, is reinventing. So reinventing itself. And in this world of couture now, it's like nature, it's completely like taken to a next level. Dark flower, dark whatever. It's almost a decay. But look at the beauty and the delicacy and the sophistication of these flowers, of this organic shape, that they are most like kind of, an hyper flora, something completely unexpected and yet amusing. And now we're getting into convergence, and convergence stands for this is a time of culture merging, of growing, of evolving, despite of what we're looking now, of what's happening globally, what's happening in the Gulf, the very difficult and dark time that we are facing. The truth is, this is a time of blossoming creation. We are meeting after the darkness. There is, of course, already happening beauty. And now all the amazing culture and Gen Z and Alpha, and even the other ones are really putting all these amazing tradition together, and new designers are reinventing it. New aesthetic codes from Africa and urban or suburban India mixed with Parisian flavor, or New York style, or Roman elegance. it's really something unexpected. Is you wearing a sari with a Gucci sneaker and a Burberry trench, or you wearing whatever. It's really mixing and collecting tribe and tribal flavor with contemporary style. Is taking inspiration from local and ancient culture and uploading it on AI, and magic happens. And diversity and alphabet and from ancient culture, from Sanskrit to Arabic to Latin, is really inspiring contemporary jewelry. New codes, India, as you can see, a heritage and yet a new interesting elegance. New and yet a little nostalgic, but definitely contemporary. It's not what you're wearing, but how you wear it, how you mix and match it. But really, ultimately, we are seeking for beacon, for light, for new direction, new rituals. What is the new rituals? Maison Margiela, of course, a very provocative brand, but innovative. They are like really creating interesting things. This is a beautiful necklace by Fabio Savini, which is it's a very actual. It's not even a new piece. This collection is it was designed years ago, but I think that this is one of these pieces that, in a way, we have seen it in African art, in history, and yet was reinterpreted by a contemporary Italian designer, even though it's not even referring to the African piece, and it was done in titanium, in carbon fiber, carbon fibers and pearls. But the thing is, there are some kind of tribal element to all this design, but they've been reinterpreted with modern technology and modern flavor. So from, let's call it brutalism in architecture, where efficiency, functionality was the most important and yet extremely bold, we are seeing a certain boldness in jewelry. One, of course, because of the price of gold, and people like, in a way, consciously, unconsciously, show off whatever, bold. So we are going to see bold pieces, and there is some of the big chains, the Gourmet, or like, the big pieces of the large cap might be, full gold or maybe hollow, but definitely people will, because gold, it is in a way the investment and it's the price. I conclude my session right now. I hope I didn't bore you. I don't know if you have any question. She does. Okay. A microphone, please. Thank you. Yes.
Once again, thank you for this insight. It was really inspirational. So my question is, what are the 3 or 4 non-negotiable elements that differentiate a collectible piece from a commercial piece?
Well, that's an interesting question because it can be tricky, because collectible can be modular and cannot be modular. Meaning that modular is I collect and they kind of fit together. Yes, please.
Sorry, I would not say collectible as in modular. I meant collector's piece, like a piece which has.
Honestly, a collector piece could be even a basic piece. If it's something so special that can be mix and match with something that you already own. So, for instance, design, if we have to make a parallelism with design, okay, design meaning object design, lighting and interior, there are some pieces that are designed in such a way that they become collectible and must have piece in your house because they are useful, they are functional, they are beautiful, and they are efficient. So if you have, yesterday Lucia bought a beautiful tennis bracelet, very unusual, that to me it's a commercial yet unusual piece, because it is a tennis bracelet that is a little different, it's different than the others, because it's kind of interesting and cool. First of all, as baguette, then as like a glass that can be changed in different sizes. So sometimes what it seems extremely simple, if twisted with very minor changes, can become a must-have. So collectible, not necessarily has to be the most expensive piece, but has to be a necessity, a necessary piece. So for me, a black, jacket is a must-have piece. Does it have to be expensive? It has to be nice, and because I wear it a lot, especially for business. So this is the concept of collectible. Could be one-of-a-kind pieces or couture handmade that you wear it once a year or twice a year, or could be one piece that you wear every day, but it works, it's functional, it's efficient, and that's it. So that's the answer. And honestly, 90% of the time of the question like that, if you think about it, you know the answer. Because I didn't give you anything special. Honestly, I didn't give you any special insight. I don't think I had any pearl of wisdom. I just told you what you can see on you by yourself, but you have to listen and you have to observe. So my strongest advice is just let's every day analyze, be quiet, and see what's out there. Really, everything is out there. My world is your world. I don't have a better word.
Thank you so much.
Finito. Amedeo, vuoi venire a condividere così ce le salutiamo? So, do we want to wrap up and say anything? There is anything that you want to say? Do you think we have to add anything to the session?
For me, this was like a magical moment because it's my first visit to India. And India and Italy have so much in common, especially in the jewelry industry. So this is like the crowning of a career moment. So I'm actually blessed and thankful to you all for being here. And I think I learned more from you than I could possibly share with you from me. Thank you, Paola.
Thank you. And can I have also Lucia on stage to say a few words before we are closing the session? It's an honor to have you.
No, it's really an honor for me to be here and to share with you my emotions, and also you are so warm with me. I really felt at home, and Paola, I promise you I do again because it's really your kindness and made me so happy. Thank you very much.
And now I thank you for joining. I hope we were, interesting, and we hope we inspired you. If not for the passion and devotion and the years of dedication that not necessarily me, but them have invested in the industry, and we get truly inspired by you and the industry and India every